You know what I mean? Hi there. Welcome to You Know What I Mean podcast, where we talk with interesting people about life. I'm Fred Helou, founder and CEO of Vagaro, and I'm here with Zak Mascolo, CEO of Toni&Guy, and Joshua Marzioli, president of Toni&Guy USA. Welcome, guys. Nice to have you on board.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
So we've known each other for a while. You recently signed up for Vagaro for your salons. Thank you very much. It's been great to have you guys as a customer. Hopefully it's been good. Everybody treated you well. It's all good. All right, good. There's Toni&Guy. I just want to let you know, I started in the industry about 16 years ago. And I didn't know much about the salon industry, but Toni&Guy is somebody that I was told, yeah, they're big. You got to get Toni&Guy signed up. 16 years ago, I didn't know much about you guys. And here we are. So it's really nice. Big fan. I'm glad to meet you guys. Heard about you over the years so many times. And honestly, after we talked, Joshua, you right away hit home. You got excited to work with us. So it's been kind of nice really to see how we all mesh, and it became a thing right away for, both companies. So it's exciting that you guys are on board. But enough about that. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this podcast would love to know the whole story of Toni&Guy, how it got started. You've been around for a long time.
Absolutely.
And you're part of the family, right? So you probably have a lot to share with a lot of us, right? So
yeah, definitely. Well, I'd like to start by thanking you and your team for the great hospitality. You have an amazing place here. You have an amazing platform.
Thank you.
Been working very well for us. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
Let's see. Toni&Guy started in London in 1963. Wow. Started with Toni and Guy, which Guy is my father. Toni is my uncle. And they were later joined by two other brothers, which would be Bruno Mascolo and Anthony Mascolo. So 4 Italian men migrated from Napoli to London in the 60s and started pretty much Toni&Guy. That's where it originated. My nonno, my grandfather, he was a hairdresser also. So I'm 3rd generation hairdresser. And we started in London, like I was saying, in about 63. And we came to America in about 85. So it's when we came across the pond and landed in Dallas, Texas.
Why Dallas?
I ask that question all the time. And I feel like depending on when you asked my dad when he was here and Bruno, I feel like the stories change a little bit. But Bruno had some ties to Dallas, Texas, of all places. And that's where pretty much he attempted a couple times to make it work from England to Dallas. And I think on the 3rd time he was successful. And then it just grew from there. And I get that question all the time. Why Dallas, Texas? And it's like I never have a great answer for it, but we really flourished in Dallas, Texas. Yep. I mean, at one point, North Park Mall is a big mall in the Dallas area. We had 2 salons in the same mall.
Oh wow!
That was just
Incredible.
always jam packed. But just back to 63 and where Toni&Guy actually originated. Their real names, for people that don't know, is Giuseppe e Gaetano. So my dad was Gaetano, Toni is Giuseppe, but in the 60s, if you said Giuseppe Gaetano, they'd think, "Wait, the ice cream parlor, gelato." So they, for the English, we kind of tamed it down a bit, and they went Toni&Guy.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah,
really good names.
Yeah. So, and then from Dallas, then we just started, branching out. We've always been an education-based company. Mm-hmm. So, we have our 4-point cutting system is what we live by. and everyone was just starting to come to us for education. And then we branched out to California, we branched out to Georgia, we branched out to Arizona. Then myself and my dad, actually in '99 going on 2000, that's when we hit New York.
Okay.
And we had a salon / academy for about 10 years on 61st and Madison. Is where that's where it really, really took off for us. And while the education was building, Bruno, my uncle at the time, he was the CEO that I took over from. We started our product line, and that was TG. And that's when, just really, really exploded even more because, you get our product, you get our education. So we had a lot of support salons, across America as well. And obviously, I'm just talking about America when we, crossed the pond. But over in England and Europe, it's, quite big as well. Probably way bigger than
U.S.
than U.S.
And the TG product line, is that sold in UK as well through Toni&Guy, or is it?
No, it's actually basically two different companies. When Bruno and my dad came to America in '85, I don't even know how to put it. We just call it Family Feud.
Okay.
To where,
we'll happens all the time, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So North America, South America, and Canada is our territory. And that would have, at the time, was Bruno and my dad. And then Tony and Anthony were in Europe and pretty much the rest of the world. And so the TG product was mainly sold in our
America,
our territories. Yeah.
Okay. And it sounds like, so education and salon and products, right? That's kind of the business model. And you said the salon had the education inside of it. Has that always been the model? Like all the schools always had a salon built in? Always.
Well, more or less, we always did education inside of our salons.
Okay.
Is just the most important thing for us. Every year we come out with a new collection. Is, what's new, what's trending. So we would, it would be called Model Night, is basically our training program that would happen every Tuesday from about 4 o'clock to, sometimes 9 o'clock at nighttime, to where we'd work with the younger hairdressers getting through their program, as well as some of the senior stylists that want to, catch up on some of the latest trends as well. So any salon that we had, once a week, ongoing training, no matter what.
Okay. And it's not for the employees of the salon. Anyone
can sign up. For our employees.
Oh, for your employees.
For our employees. So once that started growing, we saw the need to start opening the academies.
Okay.
So, and then we would open up private academies to where, the younger non-Toni&Guy hairdressers would come in and learn our system. And system is quite different in North America and Canada. Is different pretty much than the rest of the world, to where it's more of a clock-in system for hours, to where you need to get a certain amount of hours, to where you could go take your state board test, and so on through there. It's where the rest of the world, like, you're be bartering or assisting for a couple years and doing that kind of stuff. In America, it's a bit more of a licensed system.
Yeah. There's no license in UK.
No, it's the system I've been trying to break since I've been here.
Yeah. I heard, wait, so you're anti-license? You don't think there should be a license?
Well, you know what it is? I feel the license has its place. And that's where our venture is going now. Is the license is needed, yes, but what they're learning how to sanitize and do a lot of other things that is important. The quality of hairdressing isn't up to par. So they could go to a non-Toni&Guy academy do their, back then it was like other 1,500 hours. They've already taken it down to about 1,000 hours. Some states don't even do it practical. You imagine, you're going to write down how you're going to do your haircut? Like, you need to get your hands in it. You know, so, you know, there wasn't enough education, in my opinion, to have that license. Because quite honestly, I could train almost anyone for a few months to go pass that test.
Okay.
Then when they're done with that, they have a license, and then they go to $1 million boutique salon, and they haven't really been trained right. They know nothing. So they're starting from the bottom. A lot of them get discouraged and jump ship, and this isn't for me. I don't even know anything. And you just went to school for a year. You know, so... You know, I don't know how much trouble I'm going to get, but it's a busted system. You know what I mean? And that's where our new venture is going to now.
So how much of the license include, for example, knowing how not to damage the hair when you color it? Hopefully that's part of the teaching that they get during... Is that part of it or not?
I mean, it really is part of it. You know, what we figured out was the fact that, you know, when we started opening up cosmetology schools, we figured out that there was a lack of education for developing a salon-ready hairstylist. And so, you know, even just kind of rewinding back where we started in '85, you know, it organically grew to a point where franchising became a thing, because after you've opened up so many salons and you've trained so many people, and I think we've trained probably most of America. And even when Zach went to New York, I mean, he was training nonstop. And so it really created the organic growth of franchising, you know? And so in that moment, this was before even social media. And, you know, we went viral before viral even existed. And so it really created this opportunity, because being an education company forward, you know, we couldn't sell the education. So we created the product line to buy the product line, we'll give you free education. And it was how our dads told it to us, which we thought it was kind of ludicrous, because when you think about what was created by them and now what we've now restructured, it's quite amazing. We're now an education forward company and soon to be a product company once again, you know? And so what I mean by that is two things. It opened up the door for the ISDs, public schools, career technical education centers in America, because if you watch the news, it's all about rebuilding the American workforce with trade. There is a broken system with the Department of Education that has created a lot of debt for these students to go through college and then not be able to get a job to pay their loans off. And so that's where loan forgiveness started happening. Change of politics, and here we are. It's all about reinventing the American workforce through trade. So there's been a lot of government funding that's been allotted to all of the schools in America to be able to upgrade not only just hairdressing and cosmetology, but HVAC, plumbing, go down the list of trade. And so it couldn't have been perfect timing to, one, go through what we've gone through with restructuring and finding our new identity. And again, when you go through a restructure, you lay off a lot of people. And so with less people to worry about, you then have all this time to reestablish what the America really needed. And so we found a way to partner with the independent school districts, career technical education. And next thing you know, we figured out even more so, to even what Zach was saying, the broken system. Well, it's broken to the extent of, was it able to get you a license? And that's what America tells you have to do hair. Yes. But what wasn't being exploited on the other side was the pathway of education for a cosmetology student to be able to be certified and up to par with a skill set and a pathway to be able to do hair coming right out of cosmetology school.
So the old system was you had to pass a written test and say, I've had so many hours of practice or something like that. Or there was no actual, here's a test, here's a person, here's a mannequin, or, you know,
no,
hair.
There is a process through it. I mean, now you kind of started talking about
off a little bit?
No, not at all. But it's each state is different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like I was saying, there's some states that have no practical. So you're taking a written test to pass as a hairdresser.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Very dictated by the states.
And the tests, the states that have the practical, it's, the test is like from 1935.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those systems that, that you can't touch. I've always, my ultimate goal is to try and upgrade the industry. Like Josh was saying, these students, they come out, they don't really know anything. Like I was saying, they lose their confidence and with everything. So we want to upgrade the industry, and it's given us everything. These kids are coming out with a license, and at best, they're going to go work at Supercuts. To where, like, it just frustrates me that our industry is almost kind of looked down on. So, but it's still one of the number one asked courses, even in these CTE programs in the high schools. So us being able to get in there, I've been teaching for 25 plus years. The first 20 years was already licensed hairdressers. Then we opened up our academies, and I would love to go in there and do demonstrations for them. Now we've, in my eyes, I've kind of leapfrogged state board and gone into the high schools. And now these high school kids are going to get like what I would teach our own staff. So they're going to get that Toni&Guy education coming out of high school. So they can have the option, when you're, America's its own kind of animal, where I'm from originally, 15, 16, you're out of school, ready to work, or you're either going to college or you're working. So these students are going to have the option to come out with their state board test, but obviously licensed, but with a Toni&Guy pretty much certificate of, license.
It's part of high school graduation.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when they're done with high school, they could...
and that's right now being funded by government and public high schools as
Absolutely.
well? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it's all over the United States. It's not certain.
It's soon to be all over the United States. So we're about 2 years into it. We're in about 7 different high schools right now, 2 different states. Next year, we're projected at 50 new locations to open up. The beautiful thing about it is because I know that a lot of hairdressers are going to be watching this podcast. And so really, when you really back it up to the American workforce, you talk to a lot of salon owners. One of the biggest problems being a salon owner is being able to hire stylists. Without the stylists, being a salon owner is not so much fun, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so this is really going to allow the salon owners to have the ability to restaff their salons, because that's why we want to be in all states, to really help the salon owner out with being able to have qualified salon ready hairdressers right out of school. Because most salon owners don't have the time to be able to train their new stylists. And, quite honestly, we came up with a solution for that as well, which is what we're going to be dropping at Iconics, which is the new digital education platform, which fits the solution for the salon owner that's looking for a model night program to be able to utilize inside of their salons. So if they didn't have the time to do it, the platform kind of is the teacher that would then be able to walk them through that education to be able to get them up to speed on being salon ready, and for that salon owner to feel confident about doing the services inside their salon.
So if I'm a hairdresser, I graduate, I want to get to that too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not go too fast.
I know. I'm trying to stop.
Let's start from high school. So I'm a hairdresser in high school at 16 years old. He or she will be able to take elective haircutting classes. Is that kind of what it is?
Yeah.
And how many of these classes do you have to take to be able to get a certification by the time you're 18 and ready to graduate from college?
We have
from high school.
Anywhere from
2 to 3 year program inside of high school.
Years.
Yep.
Okay, and I assume probably that translates like 2 or 3 hours a week or something on top of all the other classes.
No. 2.5 to 3 hours a day.
A day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Incredible.
These guys, already we had our graduating class last year. at Plano High School. And that was like my biggest joy to watch them grow through. And I knew it. It's the consistency of every single day. You know, they have 3 hours. So they have that 3 hours. They're learning how to do the consultation, prep themselves for their client, finish the service. And then the most important, tidy up. We all have kids, you know what I mean? The tidying up part and keeping yourself organized was the main thing. And they're coming out better than our private academies. Because our private academies, like I was saying, is now 1,000 hours in Texas. So we can only work with them for 1,000 hours, you know? And it translates not doing as much hair as they're doing now in the high schools. So it's been really exciting on the education side to watch these kids come out like salon ready, which they're going to a mom and pop shop. They'll probably take over and start teaching people in the salon.
Amazing.
Yeah. And what we're looking to as well, when we've done a couple conferences to where we're talking to, you know, these CTE programs and superintendents and, you know, everything like that. And they're really open. They're really open. And they didn't know that they had this option. So like Josh was saying earlier, it's like a perfect timing for us to come in, because that's what kept me doing hair, is the education part, the aha moment, the light bulbs kind of going off. I don't know. I love all that. And, you know, I love the industry. And now we have the opportunity to, I want to say, monopolize America and change the way we teach hairdressing in North America. Because there's too much rural areas in America. If you're lucky, has great clips or super cuts. You know what I mean? And that it's way more than that. You know?
And, you know, you go to like a lot of countries, Europe, you know, like even watchmaking in Europe or something. Kids start at like 12 years old. You know what I mean? And there's a system in there as part of high school that you start learning this at a very young age. Or even soccer, you know, I mean, Messi is, you know, he was sent to Spain at 5 years old to go to a school that's all about, you know, soccer and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice that if somebody can start that young, who probably has a passion their whole life, somebody who's been already fixing their sister's hair or their doll's hair or whatever that might be able to start that at a younger age and already be in a thing that they're comfortable with and feel like they can build a career.
No, absolutely. And honestly, I was skeptical in the beginning, but that, like I was saying, that first class, now it's 3 years ago when it first started, you know, I was so over the moon, and we had him first. I was like, welcome to your first period. You know what I mean? And, you know, and we went around the room like, I was blown away of how many knew they wanted to do this already. Talking 11th graders, you know, because I could go back 11. I mean, I started, you know, younger in England, but then I came over here. And it's funny you say soccer, because I played football my whole life, but then football changed when I came over here. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's been very, very gratifying to see these young future hairdressers already like very eager. So yeah, it's been great.
And that was kind of the other thing too, is, you know, when you own that many private academies, you're waiting for the students to enroll after high school. And so with, you know, all the bills that were being passed to release all the money, high schools around all of our private school was creating cosmetology programs. And so, you know, we saw our enrollment start to decline. And so it was a pivotal moment inside of business to where we had to really kind of relook at and what we speak to as far as the restructure. But to be the first company in what we're doing, kind of found even more excitement in it and created more of a solution because, you know, with the cosmetology schools that we're opening up, they didn't have the curriculum. They didn't have the passing rates. They didn't have all the different reporting that now, by aligning with them and creating these new partnerships, it's to what Zach was saying, it's really elevating, and not only that, sticking to what we're all about, which is upgrading the industry. Because if we're doing that, then we're taking care of the industry that gave us everything and continuing to build it. Because at the end of the day, I had my pivotal moment on even how much of a spider web that it was really affecting. And so it was almost kind of like we're doing our part, because the salon owners probably have never thought about it like that. But to put that solution into place, because even when we had all the private academies, I mean, yes, there was the Paul Mitchells, there's the Avedas and all that. But at the end of the day, there was no control over the career technical education. And so it was just, it couldn't have been a perfect fit, and Dr. Teresa Williams, was one of the first partners that we ended up partnering with to really open up the doors and put us in front of this audience that now is what we feel like it was really starting to go viral, because we just didn't realize, or what we did realize was that there was never an option to have a company to come alongside these districts to help support them in the way that they needed it. And so it was a good feeling,
So is the class called Toni&Guy class, by the way, or is it just called hairdressing class? Or
No, Toni&Guy.
Toni&Guy was in the high school. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then and right now it's in 7 high schools, and hopefully it's mostly in where? Texas and
Pennsylvania have a couple as well.
Plenty in Texas. I mean, Texas is big, right? Hopefully soon we'll start seeing them in California as well, and everywhere in the United States. So somebody graduates from high school. Are they licensed hairstylists by then?
Correct.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then what do you recommend them they do? They go straight to a salon, or do they go, there's a Toni&Guy university or do both?
No, basically they're ready to go to any salon they want to work at. The time they've gone completely through our program, and each student thrives in a different way. You can see the entrepreneurial in some of the students, and if they're in a rural area, they could have the opportunity to open a Toni&Guy.
Open their own salon.
No, absolutely.
And it'll be Toni&Guy. So you're still doing the franchisee model?
Franchise model, absolutely. Okay. I couldn't see us going away from that. And, even touching on like some of those salon owners, I don't think any of them would even go to any high school and try and recruit.
Yeah.
They already know better. If you're a salon owner, you know the system. And so it is frustrating for salon owners. Turnover in our industry is, quite a lot with things popping up. And, especially even in California, because I was here for 13 years. It's that whole booth rental that kind of kicked off, and that took away from, the whole salon vibe and having that kind of family feel inside your salon. Now it's like you got your own little room and kind of deal. And, it's not what we were all kind of brought up on. So Toni&Guy never made that switch to going to a booth rental or anything like that. Some of our staff would, they would like venture off and do that. But I feel, even in our industry now, it's like fashion, everything goes in a big circle, and it's just like there's a lot of hairdressers that want to be part of something again.
Yeah.
And part of that team and that camaraderie. Because I couldn't imagine being in a booth, quite honestly, and just working by myself on my clients.
Yeah.
It's just not how I was brought up.
I mean, it's even like with COVID, so many companies sent employees home.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. I wanted all my employees to be here. Still, the minute the vaccine came out, I'm like, take your vaccine and come here, because we were all 5 days a week in the office. And you could tell happier employees, people like they go out to lunch together, to dinner together.
It was
in hallways.
It made us think outside the box a little bit as well. And we were lucky enough to have our, digital platform DNA to where we could do remote training still, during the COVID. But then I just feel like everybody got to bit too comfortable with like all the digital and all that. And it's like, we still got to touch hair.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
we touch hair for a living, you know.
Yeah, you
so
gotta put on your meta glasses on and like, you know, and you know, if that's
working on something like that too.
Truly
Would
the
be
case,
cool,
and
AI is not going to cut hair yet. That's just
Yeah.
not. I don't see it in the future.
Yeah,
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's one of the jobs that is secure forever, not being replaced by AI or anything. I don't think anyone wants a robot with scissors around their neck or their hair. Right? I wouldn't trust that.
Not yet. I don't think.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So it's I think it's great really for most people, right? You know what I mean? And so then you have the digital classroom. Tell us a little bit about that. Who wants to talk about it, Joshua?
So the digital platform came about because of the fact that, you know, being that we've always franchised, you know, the business operations, the education operations, you know, in franchising, they would get all of that. But there was a new opportunity to be able to provide it in a way that the way we've laid it out on our digital platform to where it physically can walk that new employee through what we call model night, which Zach was talking about, to be able to get them trained up to speed on all the techniques, which is the 4-point cutting system, how to blow dry, how to texturize, and so that they're able to further their skill set to be even more well-rounded to keep in that quality of, you know, how they approach hair. For whoever they go work for. And what I've come across is there's a lot of salon owners that will try to create their own education, or they just don't have the time to do it. And so this kind of just fits the mold for the salon owner that doesn't have the time to train, but can have a digital platform that can actually walk that new stylist through kind of like a training modules, but be able to then take those techniques and perform them on a live model or a mannequin, however they see fit. But the app actually kind of walks them through from start to finish on how to execute all of that, so that by the time they're done, they're able to do pretty much all haircuts and colors inside of that program.
So it's a Toni&Guy app that anyone can download from the App Store and watch videos. I'm assuming it's a video that they have to watch.
It's a videos. It's a curriculum. It's a whole pathway that kind of gets you through the whole classic collection.
Yep.
Which is our blueprint for the fundamentals of education.
No, absolutely. You know what it is, Fred? I'm sick and tired of being the best kept secret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might get in trouble here with my franchisees, but when Bruno was the CEO, I mean, that's the secret sauce, is how we train our staff and how we keep our ongoing training going and keeping them motivated to keep the longevity of our staff. So, you know, with our new venture, and it's just, I want everybody to experience, you know, what not only our staff does or somebody that has come to a Toni&Guy, because we all know how big America is. And, you know, I keep thinking of one at that conference. She goes, well, do you come to rural Texas? I said, rural the better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then you're going to have some, you know, kids that would never have the opportunity to, you know, when we had our private academies, you know, it's anywhere from 15 to 20K to go, you know, take the course.
Yep.
Now they have the opportunity to do it for free in their high school.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So it's just like, yeah, I'm just like over the moon with that. But our the platform we're talking about, Powered By, is that ongoing. So it's going to help a salon owner tremendously. On how they can continually teach and keep their staff motivated.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you're always adding new techniques and content and stuff like that on it.
There's we call it our Bible, a Bible of haircutting and coloring. It's called our classics. There's 11 haircuts, 9 color techniques, you know, as well as some updos, fringes, these bits and bobs. But you basically, I like to say, know the rules before you break the rules. So if you can understand and, you know, create all these looks from our classics, sky's the limit. Because everything, this is the foundation. So you have to understand your foundation. It's like anything. I told the students, I have a few one-liners, it's like IKEA furniture here, guys. Follow the directions and you'll get that basic shape.
Yep.
But then after that, that's when we get into, weight distribution and personalizing. Every single client will be finished differently, but you'll approach the foundation very similar.
Same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always mess up my IKEA furniture because I never.
No, I know. When you think, what, that goes on there, and then why are there a few screws left?
Yeah. It's like I always fall for it. I'm gonna do it without reading the instructions this time.
Absolutely
always, doesn't work. So, okay. So was it the 4 steps? I heard you mention 4 steps. Is it the 4 step? Okay.
So it's basically a 4
Is that something you can share with all of us, or do you have to sign up for that class too?
No. It's basically our blueprint.
Okay.
Of a haircut. So say, for instance, I'm even looking at yours. Yours would probably be a men's scissor over comb. So basically, we would be starting by taking a horseshoe. You would start on the underneath by taking a graduated block layering technique around here, scissor over combing up to that. It's almost like each section goes to your next section. So, we start with our lines and sections. Then we have our distribution, then we have our elevation, and then how do we cut the line? So they learn how to go through all these 4 points in the system to break down a haircut or a coloring technique and how to approach it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's our equation. This whole time I didn't realize how geared we are up for like high schools.
Yeah.
So I call it, this is our math equation for hair.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what's next for you guys? Where do you see like this big picture? You're in 7 schools.
Yep. Big picture is
Every
big
school,
America.
Every school, right? You want to
there's as many schools that we can get into, as much as we can push, pure education out there. I'm all for that. So like sky's the limit on, at the end of the day, I'd love it to be a household name. Inside of North America when it comes to education. And where did you learn how to do hair? At Toni&Guy.
Toni&Guy. I took Toni&Guy class in high school.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Which sounds great. It sounds great. You saying it. I've never.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's like taking a chemistry class in high school. Toni&Guy.
And you know what? Some of these students, and it's great because we'll be playing the promo video as well on stage at Iconics because we have our little ISD one. But man, some of these kids, and we have emails from parents saying, my kid never wanted to go to school this much.
Wow.
So it's just like, wow, are you kidding me? Yeah. So that's awesome. So we're actually helping, the high schools as well with attendance and.
So how long has this been going on? Just curious.
About 3 years now.
It's probably in the making, probably about 3 years. We've been actually put it into action about 2 years now.
Okay. And how many graduates have come out of this?
Well, the
first one was this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last year.
Last year. And it's just going to keep multiplying and multiplying. But I think, Fred, when you speak to bigger picture, I think bigger picture for us is it's not even just the ISDs. We've spoken about the ISDs. I think it then goes into the organic growth of then franchising salons. It's then going into, once you've laid all that foundation, it's the products that are going to go along with that as well. And so we're in the process right now of creating a cosmetology line for the schools so that they have professional products to use with all those techniques. And then, something that we got into, but, again, is a big void inside of America as well, is health insurance. Yep. And so we are actually going to be launching Toni&Guy Healthcare Network.
Oh, nice.
At Vagaro Iconics as well.
Nice.
And so that is going to create an affordable solution for healthcare. And Amazing. So we're really excited about that. Never thought we would get into healthcare, but it was a need for it, and when you have employees, and being a hairdresser myself, you just never had an affordable plan. And even for, salon owners to be able to provide that their staff. So there's a lot on the horizon, I think, for bigger picture. I feel that, also too, the industry's been very dormant as far as, leaders inside of, hairdressing. There hasn't been really a company out there leading inside of all the hair shows, the circuits. So I think there's a big opportunity once again to really come out the gate with, our next big collection release.
A lot of the education, there's a lot of how to do hair education. There's really needs to be more how to do business education. And we try to help in that, but and with the tools and stuff like that. And really with Vagaro, hopefully you just don't have to know much. You just turn it on and that's kind of where we want to get with AI. And I just turn it on and Vagaro, please help. You know what I mean? But new laws that just got enacted recently, you get $25,000 of free tip that you're not paying taxes on.
No tax
you know what I mean?
Tips.
Now you don't have to hide that income. Now you're making $25,000 more a year. Maybe that car you couldn't get a loan for before, that you were getting paid in cash for your tip. Now you'll be able to qualify to get a car loan or a home loan or whatever that might be, right?
Absolutely.
You're not hiding that money anymore.
We kind of we started that even before that, and I still remember the day because I had about good 150 of our hairdressers, and this is where we started making the move for them to do that. So I feel we were one of the first companies that started to really claim all our tips. Okay, so when that was going on for a few years, but I still remember, I was like, guys, come on, who pays with cash these days anyway? And all the hairdressers raised their hands, you know what I mean? So I was like, this is going to be a hard one to break for them to even claim their tips. But they got on board with it. And, when COVID did happen and we had to, get PPP money and all that kind of stuff,
and
all my hairdressers,
made,
for the most part, your tips are usually a good 20% if you're treating your clients right. They got 20% more money because of them already claiming it. And to your point, we're able to get homes, cars, they had more credit behind them by doing that. So we were kind of like one step on that.
Card. I don't want to take credit cards, but people just press 20%. Versus if you're paying cash and you only have $10, you're just gonna.
In the long run,
I'm sorry, I'll get you next time, right? Or something like that, right? Versus it's so easy to just press 25% and just go, and it's so obvious.
You know what else we forgot to mention, though? Not just only the high schools. What's really interesting as well is a lot of, especially in the rural areas, the high school is usually affiliated with the community college. And we're getting a lot of looks like leads from community colleges as well, to where we can,
that makes sense, right?
Yep.
Which would then fit the solution for the adult program, because a lot of, you shut them all down, and then where do we go to Toni&Guy? Because we still have a franchise academy in Pennsylvania. So I think the community college is going to fit the mold to be able to have adults that are wanting to transition from career to be able to take part in still being able to get a Toni&Guy education.
So your education has some business. I love the health insurance part. I think there needs to be 401k. Even, we owned 3 salons, for a while during COVID. I bought some salons. I wanted to see what it's like to run a salon. And we gave every employee health insurance. We gave 401k to all the employees, and my understanding was that's unheard of.
I was going to say, man, I'm surprised. Everyone stayed with you, right?
Yeah. I mean, they did. I wasn't making a lot, but we didn't open the salons to make money. But I just wanted to make sure, is it possible to have a profitable salon that's buying health insurance, buying 401k to employees, helping them with all this stuff? And the answer was yes. And using our technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we learned a lot out of it. At the end, it was like, now I'm just a salon owner. I'm not really learning from technology wise, because we kind of developed everything that we felt was needed. That's when I sold them to some of the hairdressers that work there. But I think it was a great experience. But everywhere else, people get health insurance and 401ks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that should exist in the salon industry, I believe. Yeah. So I'm glad you guys are doing that. And more education on business is just as important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, when you start, it's all about how to do hair, the craft itself. At some point, business needs to kick in, right?
I agree with you, Fred. I think I love this subject because it's what really made me fall in love with Vagaro. And so I'll put it like this. We needed a solution, a POS system to be able to go in not only to all of our franchisees, but all these new ISDs we were opening up. But it had to be the perfect program that would be able to do a lot of different things than just a POS system that could book appointments. And so when you really look at and when you speak to profitability of a salon, I think the biggest thing that gets lost in translation is everything that runs a salon. As you know, the POS system, the financial software, the payroll solution, the 401k, the insurance. And so what I've found with you guys is that you're able to package all of that up because, all of our franchisees, they have bookkeepers. And I'm like, the biggest selling point was, I'm telling you, the reports can be printed out to be able to go right to payroll. And then it gets better. Yep. They have payroll. And it's probably more affordable than any solution out there that I've come across, ADP, Paycor, and they're all great platforms. But to be able to have all your platforms speaking to each other is created a whole nother opportunity for business in the IT world, which I came across as well. But the software system, and not only more than anything, what I found in business, it's all about like-minded people. And that's what I feel like we've really experienced with you guys here. And so, we're looking forward, when you say the future, I think the future with, partnering with you guys, with everything that we're doing when it comes to not even business, but, the iconics that you guys, we're doing here in October. And, just talking to Charity about even for what to do next year. I mean, this is going to be kind of like a preview, but this collaboration is only going to be bigger and better next year, which we're really excited about because, when we were at our peak of about 60 salons and, we were doing like an Iconics, we call it Toni&Guy Photographic Awards. And so who knows what the future looks like as far as Iconics goes and the collaboration with Toni&Guy, but I think sky's the limit. And I think being able to provide a space for creatives to be creative and submit work and win and be endorsed by brands like ours is priceless. Because that's what it's about. At the end of the day, no different than Hollywood, no different than music. Hairdressers need the love too, and I think that events. In the industry, there's just like what I was kind of coming back to is there's no one really leading and shepherding the next creative on what to look forward to as far as who's setting the tone for fashion and trend and all that stuff. And along with that, I mean, it does get forgotten, which is business, and it's a big part of what makes the whole machine work. Because without the creative, the business can't survive on its own. And it's what I had to learn early, from our CEO, because it takes both, without an inspired stylist, they ain't going to produce the numbers, you know what I mean? And vice versa. And so it's a given, it's a push and pull, but when you figure it out, it gets pretty easy, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, to have a platform like this, I mean, some of the most successful salons are the staff that is very, very creative, or the owner is just a workhorse and always behind the chair, doesn't have time as much as all that. And then, sometimes it's not having your eye on the business, so to speak, that could make the salon not succeed.
We have a tagline that Vagaro is with you every step of the way. And really it started with, I started out, we had a lot of booth renters, I still remember one of my first customers, she called to sign up with me. And she said, I need to use your service. I have a 2-year-old daughter and my customer calls, and I took my eye off her for a second to book an appointment. My customer called to book, and she almost fell down the stairs. You know what I mean? Like, because I wasn't paying attention in my toddler. And I can't do this. I can't be talking to him on the phone. But anyway, she opened a salon on her own. She signed up as a booth renter, and then a few months later, she calls me, I'm opening my own salon. And I'm like, all excited. She's like, can I add employees on Vagaro? I'm like, yeah, of course you can. So she added employees. And then a few years later, she's calling me and says, I want to open another location. Wow. It's like this whole story of and I couldn't imagine, her leaving, after like the whole story was her daughter, that Vagaro helped, and it was going to help in that scenario, that Vagaro wouldn't be there for the rest. So, so we added all the, I'm like, we don't have multi-location right now, but let me write some capabilities to allow you to have multiple locations.
No, absolutely. I mean,
and that's kind of, what we want to be like for every step of the way. And it's getting where people sign up at the beginning and they think Vagaro is kind of complicated because it does so much. But I want everybody to know that if you want to grow your business, Vagaro will still be here for you, and you're still going to be the right product for you to grow your business, whether you become a salon with booth renters and commission employees and stuff like that, and a hybrid, or whichever way you want to run it, we're still the right product, and you're always going to be in the right hands.
No, absolutely. Without that support you were giving her, I don't think she would be expanding to another salon.
Yeah, I mean, especially. Yep.
And I still think the first platform that figures out how to use the AI appointment booker is going to just go through the roof, because it's one of the biggest expense inside of a salon. Is the receptionist.
Yes.
Not to say to take them out, because obviously customer service is everything in a salon, but to not have as many.
Well, I mean, my experience was my own salons. We couldn't have a receptionist answering the phone and chats, and then and another separate person just to do the towels and sweep the floor and stuff like that. You would still want to give her the ability of being able to go do the other stuff, make coffee, have a drink and stuff like that, and know that if somebody starts chatting with the front desk, it's being taken care of, right? So we've added an AI that handles the chat really well right now. Like, I mean, you don't need, the front desk can still come in and see how the AI is doing, and if the AI is maybe having a hard time, she can take over. If somebody really wants to talk to someone, it'll transfer it to her. But overall, the AI is able to reschedule, book an appointment, do all the stuff.
That's amazing.
And it responds right away, versus if it was a front desk person that's probably, getting a drink, lunch break, you know what I mean? Where the response is not going to be that immediate to that customer, right?
Exactly.
That wants to talk. And the AI knows a lot. Like, it knows about, you could ask it just about anything and here's a good use of AI, right? You're not really completely replacing a job, but you're enhancing somebody's job, right? You're supplementing it. You're filling up the gaps of when someone can't do their job. You're kind of taking over.
I completely agree with that.
Even speaking to AI, we were trying to figure out how could we incorporate it into what we do, with the product development and tools. And so another teaser, we've actually found a way to create an AI blow dryer. And so we're really excited about launching that as well, because that's actually going to help with, not burning hair, brushes and all that, because it's able to adjust temperature depending on how close or far away.
Love
and
that.
So, we're really excited about, we're actually going to be launching it.
Man, we're launching everything on your stage.
We're getting the prototype, whatever it is. We're getting it.
I couldn't believe it at first, because it's like, what does AI do? So I pushed it, and it comes up, like, you can see the heat at full heat. And as soon as you get down closer to the head, it turns the heat down for you automatically.
Yeah.
So it was like very interesting. I could see that, especially at the younger hairdressers still, getting in there. And, the worst thing is when you burn your client's head, but it will eliminate that. But then it has the switch as well for the more experienced ones that want to keep the heat high.
Yep.
So, I was really liking
prototypes coming your guys' way.
For sure.
Because I'm sure you have a lot of women.
I'd be very disappointed if that doesn't happen. By the way, for Iconic, bring on your dancing shoes, and we are known to throw big parties at Iconic.
I've heard.
The first one we ran out of alcohol, by the way.
Oh, did
wow. I was like,
well, hairdressers.
Let me tell you,
we've done
that
sold out bars. We get it for sure.
Yeah.
We have a lot of hairdressers, but as you know, we do spas as well, and medical spas. So it's great to see people from different part of the industry,
No, absolutely.
And It's amazing. We have an app that people can chat with each other, and I love how the interaction, people making friends and chatting. I felt like it's so much more intimate than a hair show. You go to a hair show.
Yeah, no, I love that part of it. It's like a community.
Yeah, it's more of a community. It's more intimate. You know, you go to a hair show. I mean, you've been to these hair shows. You can't hear. I lose my voice within an hour of being there because you're shouting over music.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're really not able to give people the full attention that you would at an event like that, you know? Yep. And there's a lot of good stuff. These guys, my marketing team does the best.
Shout out to the marketing team.
Stuff like that. Yeah, for
Shout
sure.
out to the marketing team.
So what else you want to talk about? Anything else you guys want to share with us?
Man, we touched on quite a bit. I mean, Coachella theme.
Yeah, I think it's
gonna get crazy, huh?
It's all about the Coachella theme, you know.
I'm not going to be able to go this year because I'm going to be at another event. But yeah, hopefully you guys will have a good time. I'm disappointed, but I was invited by a customer who's holding an apparel event, and I have to go. You know, it's one of our big customers too, so we're having to go. Yep,
so it's going to be really wild then, Fred, if you're not there.
If I'm not there, hopefully people will not have to worry about behaving. Yep.
No, we're looking forward to it. I think, we're really looking forward to the presentation we're doing on main stage as well. I think we could probably speak a little bit to that if you on kind of a bit of a teaser on what that kind of looks like creatively. But we're really excited about the presentation we're putting together for that. And
absolutely. We, I think it was it with Charity that we were talking, and this is where it really kind of like gave me the aha moment of you guys know what you're really doing, because you're not hairdressers, but you have a lot of clients that are, and they're asking you guys of what products maybe we should use or what education we should use. So, I thought that was amazing. And, Josh threw it at me. So then I threw it at Rome Mascolo, which is our creative director, she's put a little mini collection together that we're launching at Vagaro, at Iconics.
Nice.
For Iconics. So we're going to kind of launch it there. We got a little mini collection of editorial looks. You're going to see some editorial looks going on. You're probably going to see some wig work. You're going to see presentation of models. And you're probably going to see myself and a couple other team members doing some like cutting as well. So, we like to put a show on, but it still has education behind it. Even though it's a quick segment, there will be, will always be our Toni&Guy 4-point system going on. We say we have our own language that we speak. You know what I mean? So on how to approach a haircut, how to approach all these looks. So yeah, it's going to be jam-packed, obviously from the blow dryer to health insurance to the our digital platform that we're going to be launching. Nice. So yeah, it's going to be a fun.
Are people going to be able to buy the blow dryer over there? Or?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. That was the one challenge. I'm not launching anything without having it here. That's the worst. Like, can I see that? Oh, I don't have it yet. So no, we're gonna have it all ready.
Very good. Very good. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me on the podcast. If you know what I mean.
You know what I mean.
Now, the reason it's called that, because I say that, like, I probably said it a bunch of times, but that's something I
I know. It's a very across the pond one. So I've kind of like trying not to say, you know what I mean?
I used to say it all
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So, I'm
now does that make sense? We've kind of switched it.
You know what I mean?
Does that make sense?
I'm Lebanese, and I used to say it in Arabic all the time, and people made fun of me in Arabic. And you think I came to the United States, I would somehow lose it, but I just translated it, and now I keep saying it in the US as well, so it's never left me, but
right.
I don't realize I'm doing it. Everybody points it out,
I actually
I know what you mean. Can you quit saying that?
I actually have a friend that actually can have a full sentence conversation with just that. It blows my mind every time. I'm just like, wow, are you going to say anything else? You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, wow, okay. And then it kind of stuck with me. I finally kind of got away from it, but I've always liked it. So
That's awesome.
I just didn't know that's what the show was called, but you know what I mean? It's great. So I love it.
That's awesome.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like and share and subscribe, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?